Good morning. So, if you're waiting for retirement, that might be a long wait. A lot of you've heard my story, how we started out in property. We started off really, really well. We were buying lots of properties, we're buying lots of deals, and we had a great first year. I mean, after 1 year, we'd gone from having about 2,000 pounds, or 1,500 pounds in our bank account, to having £1 million portfolio. Now, it wasn't £1 million of equity; it was £1 million, including the in total value, including the debt. But still, that's a pretty good journey to do in our first year, especially with us investing from Sweden into the UK. So we're doing it internationally. So we had a very, very exciting first year. But what we didn't know was that there were a lot of things that kind of underpinning this journey that just weren't going well, that were problematic, and where we had partners that were ripping us off, we had builders that were ripping us off, where we had just so many things that just weren't working the way they were supposed to and the way we hoped. And what happened was, after a year, our whole portfolio kind of collapsed. And I still remember I got a phone call from our accountant, and he gave me a call and he said, "Daniel, it's time to file for bankruptcy." And I said, "Oh, okay, well, what does that mean? What does that mean?" And he said, "Well, look, you have so much debt, you have cash flow, but it doesn't even, it can't even cover the interest. So every month your debt is growing and growing, and it's time to throw in the towel. There's no way you can turn this around." And obviously I'd been stressed. I mean, I knew that it was bad. I just hadn't realized how bad it was. And I don't think I'd slept properly for a month. I was stressed out of my mind. I was scared. I was worried. I saw my whole life going down the drain. And so I asked him, I'm like, okay, so what does this mean? What does filing for bankruptcy mean? And he said, "Well, Daniel, what it will mean is that you will file for bankruptcy. Your company will go into liquidation. You'll sell all your assets, and then the money that's in will go to pay off your creditors. And then you can start again. You can start a new company and start over from scratch." I said, "Wait, from scratch?" He said, yeah, you don't, just start over from zero and do it again and do it right. Hey, Elena, thank you for that heart. I appreciate it. When I relive these times, I need that love. Thank you. So what do you mean start from scratch? He's like, yeah, that you have a company. So you bankrupt the company. Yes, of course, someone will see that you have bankrupted a company before, but essentially you start over from scratch. And I was so relieved. I'm like, wow, wait a sec. So I don't actually have to pay this debt. I'm free. I can begin again. I can do it right. Because obviously we'd learned so much in this period. We'd done so many deals. We'd learned what not to do, and actually we'd started sourcing. So we'd sourced 50 deals that all had gone perfectly. So we'd done the mistakes with our deals. We'd done the mistakes with our own money, which is how I think you should do it, rather than making mistakes with other people's money. But we'd made the mistakes with our own money, and then we'd gone out and helped other people, and their deals had gone perfect. And I was looking at them jealously, like, oh, if I didn't have all this debt, I could begin again and I could buy deals, and I know now how to do them properly, so I would do it well. And he said, you can start over. And so I said, okay, well, let's do that. Yeah, let's. No, wait a sec. If we do that, I mean, I don't have to pay for the debt, but who does? He said, well, I mean, obviously your creditors, they won't get all their money back. They'll get a portion. And I started thinking, who are my creditors? Who is these people I owe? And I realized that's my investors. My investors are my creditors. And I realized that if I bankrupted my company, they would be losing hundreds of thousands of pounds. And they trusted me. They believed in me. They'd literally given me their hard-earned money. And I said, no. We can't do this. And he says, but you can't figure this out. There's no way. I said, well, I will. I promise somehow I will. And this was right around the time when we brought Kim Kiyosaki to Sweden, and we'd started working with Success Resources. So we're working very closely with Tony Robbins' organization. And we spoke to Kim when she was here, and she kind of explained everything we'd done wrong, and it was a long list, okay? But she also showed us how we could kind of turn it around. And we talked to Tony's organization. They were very much, just do the Richard Branson model. I'm like, well, what's the Richard Branson model? Well, look, have you read his book? Have you read Losing His Virginity? I'm like, yeah. He said, well, how did he solve his problems? Because Richard Branson had so many problems. He said, what did he do? I said, well, he grew out of them. He said, exactly. I don't really understand what that means. Well, he said, look, thank you for that heart. I appreciate it. Like I said, I need it when I'm going through. This is powerful for me. But no, it was very hard because I just didn't understand. What do you mean grow out of your problem? Well, he said, look, right now your problem is a certain number. You got a few hundred thousand problems, or some few 100,000 pounds of debt, okay, that you got to get rid of. If you can get rid of that, thank you, Charles. Thank you for that heart. I appreciate it. But if you can get that. Turn that around, if you can get that, get rid of that 100,000 pounds, if you can grow your company to a size, if you can 10x, as they say, 10x your company, make it 10 times as big, a few 100,000 pounds won't feel like a lot, will it? I said, well, yeah. So he said, that's what we need to do. You need to do, and we went through, and Kim had helped us with this, and Tony's organization helped us with this, my others mentors helped us with this, Randy Zuckerberg Institute helped us with this, so we've got so much help. I mean, literally. Thanks, Charles. I appreciate that. But yeah, please guys, keep the comments coming. That makes this so much more fun. It's just not me talking to a phone. It's actually me talking to you guys. So keep them coming. I appreciate it. Sorry I don't have time to answer all of you, but I really appreciate the flow of things coming through here. What we did was we restructured a lot of the debt. We brought on people, instead of having them as straight loans, we converted them to joint venture partners. We turned it around to partnerships. And what we actually did was we went out and we brought in more investment capital. And we were very transparent. We shared the situation, but we also made sure they had proper security. And we turned it around pretty quickly. With their help. It took us, it took some time, absolutely, but we grew, and we looked at the 10x strategies, and we grew the whole portfolio. This allowed the problems to get smaller. They didn't go away, but it allowed us to kind of get our cash flow bigger than the interest rate cost, and we could start building and growing. So it was a very, very exciting journey, and we got to that point where we finally had passive income coming in, and I could quit my job, which is just an amazing experience. And I bring this story up because for a couple reasons, and there are a couple lessons that I want to kind of pull out of this story. The first one is, there is so much you can do, even when it's tough. And I mean, it will be tough on this journey. But there are always ways to restructure debt. You can always communicate with your investors. There are ways to kind of get around a lot of the issues. But also, there are just learning and growing and continuing to invest will make a huge difference. And make sure you have a mentor that can bounce ideas off you, and they can help you make sure you don't continue to remake the same mistakes. But the way to work out our issue was to keep pushing forward, keep raising finance, but making sure that the new deals went well. And they did, and we grew, and that's why we are where we are today. We could have thrown in the towel, but I would have been throwing my investors under the bus, and I never think you should do that. If someone has trusted you, if they believed in you, honor them, take care of them, and succeed, because you have that responsibility. So I just want to leave you with that message today, is how dark it can seem dark as pitch black night on this journey, and sometimes it does. And like I said, I hadn't slept for like a month, and it was a couple more weeks before I slept again. But finally I did get a good night's sleep. And you will be able to. You can do this. So continue to believe, continue to have that courage, and I know you'll reach your goal. So thank you so much for today, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow.